There's a lot of times you can actually get in trouble for breaking some sort of mortgage law or mortgage rule. And it's very specific within that rule, like this is exactly what you did wrong and it's outlined in that rule. There's one thing that can catch you that isn't as easy to understand or detect, and that is what's called UDAAP. And it used to be UDAAP, I actually call it UDAAP now. It's unfair, deceptive, and abusive acts and practices. The abusive part was just added through Dodd-Frank. So it's now unfair, deceptive, or abusive acts and practices. When you think about it, you could violate this in so many ways, right? This could be that you're doing something with a real estate agent like a RESPA referral kickback thing, which is unfair to the consumer. Or you could do something like add a prepayment penalty to your consumer's loan right before they go to closing and not tell them about it. And that can be, abusive potentially to the consumer or unfair to the consumer. So there's areas pretty much in everything that you do that could be covered by UDAAP. And the CFPB has really gone after UDAAP because it's a little bit easier to grab onto because all you have to prove is unfair. If you look at the definitions under UDAAP, unfair is it's likely to cause substantial injury to consumers. The injury is not reasonably avoidable by consumers, and the injury is not outweighed by countervailing benefits to consumers or to competition. So when you look at unfair, you're thinking you're giving them something without something painful without giving them something nice. So for example, let's say there's a prepayment penalty on a loan. You allow them to buy that out. Cool, that's an exchange kind of a thing. So you're harming them and it's unfair because you didn't give them anything, to benefit them. So you increase the rate, but they get their fees covered. Cool, that's not unfair. You start doing that deceptively, it could be. That's unfair. Deceptive acts and practices, and acts deceptive when it misleads or is likely to mislead the consumer. Consumer's interpretation is reasonable under the circumstances, and the misleading act or practice is material. So in other words, they believed you when you said something, and what you said was very misleading, and that's deceptive. Keep in mind, they can get this on marketing and advertising that you do, as well as just the things that you do daily to work with your clients. So misleading them about their, that they should go into this product over that product, that could also be covered as well. That could be deceptive. So that's unfair, deceptive. Now, abusive is when it material interferes with the ability of a consumer to understand a term or a condition of a consumer financial product or service. Or when you take unreasonable advantage of a consumer's lack of understanding of the material risks, costs, or conditions of the product or service. I always think of this when people used to close loans at the consumer's house, and they would put their whole arm over the disclosures and be like, yeah, just go ahead and sign there and sign there and sign there. You're intentionally misleading them. You're basically lying to them at that point about what's really going on. And so watch out, just in your daily business and kind of everything you do, have this umbrella over you going, am I doing anything that would be unfair, deceptive, or abusive? I don't think anybody right now in this business is going out trying to cheat borrowers or lie to them. But I do think sometimes in your communication with borrowers, sometimes people aren't as upfront as they should be about the real terms or about what's really going on. Understand that UDAAP covers everything that you do. So always think of that as the umbrella that covers me as I'm not being unfair, deceptive, or abusive. Because the CFPB is all over it and states are looking at it as well. That's UDAAP.